thanks for watching Numbskull News. And today I'm going to get back into the truth about realignment from my perspective. Now, there's a lot of people out there constantly telling you that the SEC and the Big Ten do not want Florida State. They don't want Clemson. What they do want more than anything else other than Notre Dame is the University of North Carolina. I'm the only one telling you they're not going to get an invite. It's not going to happen for them. I'm the only one saying it. Now, being that I'm the only one saying it, I have no sources. The thing is, I don't need any sources. All you have to do is look at the landscape, the business landscape of realignment. And it's going to tell you the story. It's going to tell you what's going to happen with these big two conferences. Because they have media partners that pay them shit tons of money. ESPN, Fox, NBC, CBS. You know, some of the biggest damn media companies in the world. So, why am I saying that UNC won't be going to one of these big two conferences? Why they don't have the value for that? Because it's based off of football. Look at everything that's been written, whether that's Ross Dillinger, Dennis Dodd, whomever. Pick and choose who you want to look at. It's all about football. Whether that's UNLV, it doesn't matter. Texas State and the Pac-12 and all this kind of crap. It's all based on football value, isn't it? All right. Now, I don't believe it's all based on football value for lower conferences. They got to find value wherever they can get it, including the Big 12. And I've been into that before. But when it comes to the Big 10, when it comes to the SEC, absolutely, it's football first and foremost. Don't believe anybody that tells you that the SEC has this big interest in Kansas. They don't. Don't listen when they say that the SEC has this big movement to go and get basketball teams, whether that's Kansas, whether that's UNC, Duke, whomever. No, it's football. That's the bread and butter of the SEC. The Big Ten, what is their media rights deal based on? Is it based on their academics? And by the way, the Big Ten makes shit tons more money per school from their academics, from their research dollars, their grant money they get from the U.S. government. Yes, that is way more money than they get from media rights. But that money goes to research, doesn't it? It doesn't go into athletes' pockets. It's not going to go into revenue sharing. It's not going to go into any of that. It's going into the study of medicine for the most part. However, when it comes to athletics, that the Big Ten derives its media contract from football as well. It has to. That's what they're worth. What is that based off of? It's based off of TV ratings, nothing else. Nothing else. Ohio State, massive draw. Michigan, massive draw. Penn State, massive draw. You got Oregon and Washington that came in that are big time draws. USC is a massive draw. You get what I'm getting at. Nebraska brings in big ratings. Wisconsin brings in really good ratings. This is what it's based off of. Now, the only argument anyone ever has about UNC going to the SEC, UNC going to the Big Ten, there's only one argument. Only one thing of value that gets them there. And that they are the flagship of North Carolina. Getting into the ninth most populated state of North Carolina. That is growing. It's a fast growing state. Not Florida, not Texas, but still fast growing state, great market. People that live there, all right, they enjoy high economic spending power. They make good money. So all of this is really good in terms of where you want to have your advertising dollars spent. North Carolina is a great state for that. truly is. I have to give it up. However, I'm going to show you a receipt, a little bit of proof of what I've been talking about. Every time I find some proof that backs up what I'm talking about, where the true value of North Carolina really lies, I'm going to show it to you. And I'm going to make a video about it every single time. And I know people get tired. Dude, Numbskull, you've made so many videos about this. The reason for it is because I'm the only one. I'm the only one. I'm on an island. So I have to fight back once in a freaking while. So this is me fighting back. So let's get with this receipt. Let's get with some of this proof. Let me bust it down for you. Now this comes from Nielsen. All right, this is the gauge TV viewing trends in the U.S. All right. It uncovers how U.S. audiences spend their time watching TV across platforms and media distributors each month. So let's look at the month of August. So let's go down here. Let's take a nice long look at this. This whole pie is the total viewership in America. Now, broadcast TV, we're talking ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, all your over-the-air broadcasters, 22% of the total pie of TV viewership these days. This used to be 100% not that long ago. Cable, 27.3%. Sorry, 26.3%. Other, don't know what other means. Is that satellite? What is that? But it's 10.7%. Streaming, and here's all the streamers. Here's the breakdown of the streamers. 41% of United States households are streaming. That damn near doubles broadcast and cable. Like, it damn near, you combine those two, it damn near beats them. That is insane, folks. And by the way, what I said about a trend, hundreds of thousands of people are cutting the cord every year. They're going to streaming every year. That number's escalating. This is why all of the experts are saying all the TV networks are trying to find the off-ramp out of cable, out of broadcast, and go to streaming. They're trying to find a way, any way possible, to make that their future, because it is the future of entertainment in America. I'm not saying broadcast TV is going to go away in the next 20 years. It's not. But that 22%, it goes down more and more every year. Cable is in a lot of trouble. It goes down and down and down every year. Now, if you add cable with broadcast TV, you notice you're still roughly around 48% plus of the total market share, damn near half. But streaming is damn near the other half. Now, you would look at it like the TV is just a little bit above them, but it's going like this. All right? The streaming is getting more and more popular. It's like a snowball effect. More and more people are going to it. So what does that tell you? That tells you year after year, the value of North Carolina is going down. Because it's not about the carriage fees. Right now, streamers like, YouTube TV, and a few other ones that show broadcast live TV, Hulu, for instance, they do pay carriage fees to these networks. For now. For now. Because they have to. All right, the courts have said they have to do this. Because there's lawsuits right now going on between Disney and Hulu and essentially everybody else, cable and satellite providers, saying that they shouldn't, that Hulu shouldn't get a break because Disney owns ESPN and they should have to pay the same amount of carriage fees that the satellite and cable providers do. And it's looking like they're probably going to beat Disney on that. However, once ESPN goes straight to consumer, in other words, they don't license it, they don't license ESPN to any satellite or cable or even broadcast, nothing. You only get it on their streaming platform, then they won't take any carriage fees. There won't be any carriage fees. They can just play on Hulu or whatever. That's what it's going to be. When they go straight to consumer, there won't be any more carriage fees, people. Same thing with any sports streamer. And all this shit's going to streaming. All right, like AMC Plus or any of this shit. These are networks themselves. Paramount Plus. Does Paramount Plus pay a carriage fee? No. Because they're only showing what they have rights to show. Disney Plus, do they pay carriage fees for anything? They don't. Because they own every bit of that content. Now, they may pay a licensing fee if they had licensed content like Netflix does or Hulu does. They have to pay a license fee to broadcast that, to show it, to have it on their streaming service for whatever period of time. However, like Disney Plus, they own all the shit. They don't have to pay any licensing fee at all. So they're just making money on what they already own. And they own ESPN. And if that goes straight to consumer, like everybody has reported it's going to, then there won't be any carriage fees for the games, will there? No. And that's all the value of UNC. That's it. And I'm sorry I'm talking so slow. I just want everyone to make sure they understand this shit, because I keep having to explain this shit. And it's not hard to understand. But this is where the world's going, people. Cable and broadcast TV, the linear option, is going down. And as it goes down, UNC's value plummets. Now, what makes Florida State and Clemson so valuable? Why do I keep not believing people when they tell me that the SEC is not interested, that the Big Ten's not interested? Because Fox, NBC, CBS, and yes, ESPN are very interested. That's why. Because if you're going to have a model where you're not getting carriage fees, all your money is coming from what? Subscribers. You need large audiences to subscribe to your service to watch your product. The product is, in the SEC, for instance, with ESPN, you're going to get a ton of people wanting to come in and watch Alabama games, to watch Georgia games, Texas games, LSU games, OU games, Tennessee games, Ole Miss games. Shit tons of people. They will draw a giant audience for that. Guess what? Does UNC going to offer you a lot of subscribers to come in and watch that football product? No. And there's just more Florida State fans. There's just more Clemson fans. That's the value, people. That's what you're offering. And this is what I also have called premium matchups. Okay? With UNC inside the SEC, there's no premium matchup there. There's no big ratings draw. You know, Ohio State, Michigan, that's a monster draw. That's the biggest draw every year in college football. That's worth millions and millions of dollars. That's why it's one of the reasons the Big Ten makes so much damn money. The SEC, you just had Georgia versus Alabama. Both of them unbeaten. That's a monster matchup. Texas OU, don't care what the records are, throw them out. It's going to be a monster matchup. Guess what? You put Florida State and Clemson in the SEC, what does that give you? Premium matchups, huge ratings draws. And people, and I've heard people say, well, hold on, there's so many of these other matchups, like if Michigan plays, whenever they play Alabama or Texas, that's a bigger deal than FSU playing yada, 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 X, Y, and Z. Florida State and Clemson, they're in the ACC. You put them in the SEC. Now you're getting SEC eyeballs on those two schools, not just. Let me put it to you this way. Texas and OU this year will have bigger ratings than they had last year. Some of the biggest ratings maybe they've ever had. And they've had huge ratings. But it's going to be consistently up, up, and up. Why? Because now you have SEC eyeballs on that product. And even though I'm a Big 12 fan, there's more SEC fans. I mean, don't be shocked. That's just the truth. And they have gigantic blue blood programs that have been built for decades upon decades upon decades. That's why they're blue bloods. All the winning. Growing their core fan base outside of their little Tuscaloosa area, outside of that little Alabama state, outside of the region of the Dirty South. They're a national power. And they've become that over a century of football. So I don't take anything away from Alabama at all for that. But that's the power that they bring, that they've earned through winning. And so many of these other brands, the biggest brands of college football, same thing. They've built it over decades upon decades. Florida State has done the same thing. Clemson has done the same thing. Clemson's a newer arrival into this level, but they're there. They're definitely around the OU or LSU level. They're there. Like it or not. Don't care. Don't care how you feel about it. They're there. UNC has never been there. They're not. Basketball, yes. Basketball doesn't draw the eyeballs and the interest that football does. And it never will. It'll get more popular. You'll be able to monetize it in a bigger and better way in the future. But it's not football. Chances are it'll never catch it. One sport draws more interest. It's just a bigger deal. It just has more eyeballs. Advertisers value it more than basketball. It's kind of the way it's always been and always will be. Sorry. That shouldn't hurt your feelings, but that's the way it is. UNC has a lot of value. They don't have SEC value. They don't have Big Ten value. They have Big Ten academic value, absolutely. They have great basketball value, absolutely. One of the bluest of the blue bloods. But they don't have the football value. They don't have the football viewership. And they bring no premium matchups in football. That's why they won't go. Now let me show you that chart one more time before I end this damn video. Now remember, the streaming. Most people are getting their entertainment through streaming now. Through all these lists of streamers. Okay? Broadcast TV is going to continue to go down. Cable TV is going down in a big way. Streaming year over year, it's 41% right now. The next couple of years, it's projected to be at least half, 50%. And it's going to keep going up. Keep that in mind about everything I'm talking about. Streaming is constantly growing. Growing and growing and growing. And they're not going to base adding teams to the SEC and the Big Ten based off of cable, based off of carriage fees, based off of broadcast TV. They're not going to do that. I'm sorry, they're not going to do that. The music industry is no longer going to make plans and devote money into anything to do with physical copies of music, DVDs, albums, cassettes, because it's all streaming now. It's the only thing that matters in music anymore. It's the only thing that matters. The movie industry, they can't count on DVD sales and rentals anymore. It's gone. Blockbuster's gone. All that shit's gone. It's all streaming now. It happened with music. It happened with movies. Now it's going to happen with TV. It's all going to streaming. I won't say all, but the biggest slice, like this other right here, within the next several years, you're going to be able to fit broadcast, TV, and cable into the other. It's going to be about 10%. Streaming will have everything else. This is what the investments, this is what the future of realignment is going to be based off of. This monster right here, it's a monster, and it's going to continue to grow. So no, I don't have any sources. All right, I don't have an education. I'm not a journalist. I'm none of this shit. None of it. But what I do understand is logic. And if I had an ass ton of money that I'm going to put in to the SEC or the Big Ten, what am I going to base that on? The old model, the old ways of doing business, the linear options? Am I going to base it on a dying freaking business model? Or am I going to invest into the future, into streaming? I'm going to base it on streaming. I'm going to base it on making my money through subscribers. How do I do that? You got to be able to attract the most subscribers. Florida State and Clemson will attract the most subscribers, not UNC. It's really, truly that simple. And that's why no one else is looking at it that way. They can't pull their head out of the old ways of looking at the business of college football, because it's always been that way. This is why I keep banging the damn desk talking about streaming, because that's the future. And right now, streaming is the biggest option for any advertiser, for anybody doing business and entertainment. It's all about streaming. You're not looking at cable and you're not looking at broadcast TV. They still make money on it right now, but the amount of money they make on it shrinks little by little every year. And it goes to streaming. So it's a whole different way of making money over there. Whole different thought process. It's not based on your academics. It's not based on your basketball brand and your prowess. It's based off of football. What does your football brand bring? It's got to bring eyeballs. Eyeballs equal money. And this shit's all about money, folks. Nothing but. All right. Well, thanks for watching this crap. And I'll be back with some more crap later. Bye.